Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So this is a video, and I'm going to start calling these playtime videos. So it's basically me just playing with makeup, coming up with something, or if I have an idea in my head, I want to just play with some products on my face. So I'm going to kind of call them that and probably put them into a little playlist of like playtime. But this is one of them, and there's going to be no rhyme or reason to any of these videos. It's just going to be me playing with makeup, whether it's neutral, whether it's colourful, whether it's mad, whether it's dramatic, whether it's really, I don't know, whatever I feel like putting into them. So this is the first one, and this is slightly more festival style. It's slightly more colourful, no more colourful than I normally do actually now that I think about it. But it's very contrasting, so it's the orange and blue, and you've got a crap ton of glitter on the lower lash line. Really, really bright, really, really funky colours and shapes, and just really dramatic and really eye-catching as well. Everything else is very soft on the face, and all about the eyes today and all about the colours today. So if you want to see how to get this festival look, then keep on watching. Okay, so let's get started. Excuse my very red eyes, they look very really red in the camera, and it's because I'm just awake, so that's why. And also I'm having a like weird breakout on my chin. I don't know what keeps happening. This never really happens, but it's happening now, so we're just gonna deal with it. I'm trying to cover it up, but like I'll cover it up more. So I've already got my brows on, I've already got some foundation on, so let's just get into it. I am gonna start off with the Too Faced Shadow Insurance, just to ensure my eyelid stays nice and prepped and primed, and it is not gonna crease, and the colours come out really, really strong and pigmented and all that jazz. So yeah, priming all the way from my lid all the way to my brow and along my lower lash line. Okay, so this is going to be kind of a dramatic, bright, colourful look. Nothing new on my channel. This is going to be my colour scheme right there, and a little bit of like one or two other little bits and a couple of pigments and glitters and stuff like that. That's going to be my contour, but that is basically going to be my colour scheme. Some blues and oranges because I love a contrasting colour scheme. But it's going to be kind of a festival look. It's basically the whole idea of these videos is me playing with stuff and see what happens. But the idea I have in my head is more of a festival kind of style. Not really a festival goer, to be honest. I've never been to one. Closest I've been to one is in Portugal, and they're like they're like 3-day things, but you don't stay over, you just go and you stay in your hotel or apartment. So yeah, but I'm going to start off with the shade 51 from Inglot. It's just a bright orange. It's got like micro sparkles in it, but you can't really see them once they're on the eye. And I'm taking a MAC 221 brush, and we're just going to pop this into the crease. And I'm starting with this shade first because I want it to be really, really intense, and I'm going to use lighter shades to blend it, which I don't normally do. I would normally go in with my lighter shades and then deepen them, which I still really, really enjoy doing. I wouldn't really change that too much, but I just want the intensity. I'm kind of playing with using this technique more because I see a lot of people using it and I see the intensity of their colours come out. So I just want mine to look like that basically. So I'm bringing it, and I'm bringing it quite far in here as well, so you can really see the colour in there, because we are going to cut the crease. Doing a lot of cut creases this year, but we are going to cut that crease. So once we've got that on, we are not going to worry too much about the lid, because like I said, I'm going to cut the crease and all that kind of crap. So like all this kind of stuff here, I'm not too fussed about. It's more this blend up here that we're working on first. So to help that blend, I'm going to take Inglot Eyeshadow in 368. It's just a soft peachy, it's a matte finish. It's going to go on to a 217 from MAC, and just start softening up the edges. We can re-intensify the orange if we need to along the crease line, but I'm just going to soften out these edges. Blending it up fairly high because I will be highlighting my brow, but I do have to bring it up high to soften out my edges. This is my only issue with this technique, is that I find I tend to bring the first colour up too high. I don't keep it that concentrated, but that's just me trying to blend it out before I actually try to. So that's where I find it's a bit difficult for me, that I actually run out of space, but it's all practice, guys. Yeah, so you get a nice, you do get a nice blend that way, but I do feel like I have to re-intensify the orange now, so don't really know if there's really much difference in doing it. So I'm just going to go back in with my orange on my 221 and just pop some more of that into the crease. I don't have to worry too much about blending this bit out now because the rest is kind of blended, so all we're doing is just strengthening the colour. Okay, so just going to move on a little bit, and I'm just adding one little thing in just for me because I like to do this to an orange because I feel like it makes it look more the kind of orange that I like. So I'm just going to take a little bit of yellow, and this is 474 by Inglot. It's just a bright yellow, and I'm taking a dab on my 217, but it's quite pigmented, so just really only need a dab. And we're just going to wash that across the whole crease. So this just kind of softens the reddiness of the orange, takes it to a more like tangerine kind of colour. Or like a, I don't know how to describe it, like an orange juicy kind of orange. I don't know, I kind of like that sort of orange on me. I think it looks really cool. Because I'm going to do this to the lower lash line as well, so I want to do it on top, make sure it all matches. Okay, so now the fun part, or not so fun part for me. I'm going to cut my crease. I'm going to use my MAC Pro Longwear concealer, and I'm just taking a small little bit on the back of my hand and my trusty e.l.f. concealer brush because it's synthetic and it's flat and it's kind of rounded, so well rounded on top, so it gives you a good shape. So we're going to kind of come up a little bit, like the shape of my eye basically, and then swoop out, so we're going to get a nice swoop on it. And load up your brush. That's something that I learned you need to do, is really load it up, because if you don't have enough product on it, you're not going to get that real strong cut straight away. So let's see, I'm going to probably have to use a small mirror. So I always start a bit lower than I think I'm going to go, so that way I have room if I need to fix anything to go upwards, because if I start too high and then I still need to fix things, it's just too high. So I like to just kind of start a little bit lower, get the shape going, and then I can go in and smooth out anything that needs to be smoothed out. Okay, so this is the kind of shape I'm kind of going for, because I'm going to stop the blue along here somewhere so it will have that nice winged out shape. Yeah, it's going to look a bit weird until you actually start putting proper colours on and getting your real shape down. But yeah, so I'm going to do the same on the other side. Sorry I didn't talk during that, because I need to concentrate during that because I'm not used to doing cut creases. So I'm going to do the same on the other side. Hopefully they match. We'll see. And yeah, back in a sec. Okay, so my eyes are now somewhat symmetrical, or as symmetrical as I'm probably going to get them without ruining everything and having concealer up to my eyebrows. So I'm going to leave it alone. We're not going to touch anymore. The next colour I'm going to use is blue. So I do have a blue in my Inglot palette, but that's more of a shimmer and I want it to be a little bit stronger than that, so I'm going to use that over top of this colour. So this is the Kat Von D Pastel Goth palette. It's just your pastel palette, and I'm going to use the shade Doom, which is a bright blue. It's not showing up as bright as it should in camera. Yes, I know there's a lot of controversy about Kat Von D, blah blah blah. I still use products because I like them, and why would I stop using them if I like them? So I'm going to take that shade Doom, and I'm going to use a small little flat brush, and we are just going to set that entire crease, but I'm going to start out here, if that makes sense. So I've only loaded up one side of my brush, so I have more control over it, and I'm going to use the covered side facing up and the clean side facing down, and I'm just going to kind of map out the very edge of this shape that I want to go for, just so I know how far I want to go down. It doesn't really matter because I'm going to bring glitter out there as well, but just so I have a general idea. And then just using packing motions, we're just going to basically set this concealer, going all the way across the eye. And I'm not going to go all the way up to the very edge of the line because I want to use a smaller brush just to make sure it's still nice and precise. So I'm just switching to a Real Techniques lip brush. It's just a really teeny weeny little brush, and taking that same blue, just because it's a little bit more small and pointy, and then we're going to go in and just make sure that this does not go up any higher than the concealer. So now we've got this kind of shape going. It's so much more vibrant in real life. I don't know if I need to change the settings on my camera, but I don't know what settings to change because I don't know actually how to use cameras like this. But that's generally the shape we're going to go for. You'll see it in pictures and stuff like that, and you can check out my Instagram down below and you'll get really up close pictures of these looks. I always post them, maybe not exactly the day I post the video, but eventually they do go up sometimes. So yeah, so I'm gonna do the other side and I'll be back in a sec. Okay, so while I was gone, I just did some concealer and concealed this junk that's happening down here. So now we're going to move on to the lower lash line, and I wanted to do my concealer first because I'm going to be bringing it quite far down with glitter and all that kind of jazz. So that way we can just blend until our heart desires, and then we won't be covering anything up with concealer. So for the lower lash line, I'm going to go back to the orange, and we are going to take a little brush, this teeny weeny little brush like this, and I'm just going to load that up, and we're going to apply this as close as we can possibly get to the lashes on the lower lash line. So really close. It doesn't matter how far down you bring it, you can just bring it down a little bit, or I'm going to bring it down quite a bit. It's because I want to. That's fine. I'm bringing it all the way across, making sure that you're not leaving any gaps. And then when we get to this outer corner here, I'm going to start lining right along the edge of that blue, because we want a little bit of a base down for the glitter. Try not to overlap the orange and the blue together because they will make a weird looking brown colour. Try to just go right next to it. And then I'm going to take the same shade, and I'm going to take a Real Techniques shading brush like this, and we're just going to take a tiny little bit of that on the brush, just a small amount, and we're just going to soften out the edge of that. So like I said, I'm bringing it down quite far, and it's going to go further than this as well. And make sure you blend the edge of the orange out here, but also make sure it tapers outwards here, so that way you get a nice, kind of keeps that shape going for you. And then keeping that same brush, we're going to move on to the peach shade, the 368 that we used up top to help blend out the orange, and we're going to blend out the orange even more. So we're going to bring that down, starting on the edge of where the orange ends, and just start bringing that along the bottom, and just keep blending it down until you're happy with where the colour is going. You can always go back and forth between this and the orange like we did on top to keep blending. I want it to be very far down. I want it to go like past where the crease of my lower lash line is. Just really far down, just so you can really see the base colour underneath everything. And then we're switching back to the 217 and taking the yellow again. And like we did on top, just go over that entire bottom to what I say is kind of like, make it look like a sour orange, if that makes sense. Not like a sorbet kind of orange. We want it to be like tangy looking. That's a weird way to describe the kind of colour I'm going for, but yeah, that's the kind of vision I have in my head. Okay, so I kind of forgot to do this, but I'm going to take the shade 33 from Inglot. It's a shimmery tealy blue kind of colour, and I'm going to pop this all over the blue as well. I find that when I put a matte shade down, especially I've packed this on quite a bit, that I need to actually wet it just so it sticks a little bit. I don't normally wet shadows, but I find it's just the easiest way. You could pop down a glitter glue on top and help it stick better, but that's just too many layers for me. So we're just going to pop this on slightly damp, and it will stick. You might just have to layer it up a little bit. We're going to go from all the way in here to all the way over here, and it'll slightly lighten this blue as well, which I kind of want. I kind of want it to be a little bit not as primary looking. I want it to be a little bit softer, a bit more summery blue. Yeah, so that's the kind of blue I was more looking for. More of like a teal kind of seawater kind of blue. So I'm going to do the same on the other side. Okay, so moving on to the fun and the messy part, we're going to take the NYX Glitter Primer. And I've just popped a little bit on the back of my hand, and I'm just going to take the Real Techniques shading brush again, or base shadow or whatever it's called. And I'm just going to lightly dab that glitter glue over top of the orange, bringing it down far. Don't really mind where it goes because this is going to be kind of just a messy glitter. Just make sure it's somewhat even across the actual eye. And the same on the other side. Okay, and then I've got 3 different glitters to use. So I've got it's a MAC glitter. I don't know if they still make it anymore. I've got a little sample of it though. It's like this corally kind of shade with like a yellowy kind of reflect off it. It's called Rocking Orange, and it's a fine glitter. And then I've got this one from Blush Sparkle. I'm not sure what the name of it is because it's not written on the actual tub, but it's this chunky peach glitter with like chunkier parts, and I'm going to use mainly the chunky parts from that one. And then I thought it might be fun if I want to just add a little bit more colour. I have the LA Splash. This is Hawaiian Fizz, so it's a bright neon yellowy limey kind of colour. So we're going to start with the Rocking Orange, and I'm going to use that same base shadow brush. Just with what primer is left on it will actually help it stick to the glitter and pick it up nice and easy. So just a little bit at a time, and we're just going to pop that over top of the orange on the lower lash line. I'm not going to go like super covered because we still want to have some stickiness for the other parts, but I am going to come down quite far. We want to look like we're crying glitter. And then we are going to move on to the Hawaiian Fizz from LA Splash, because it's also a very fine glitter. It's probably even a little bit finer. This has more of like a yellow and green reflex, so this will be quite cool to give you that kind of tropical feel. The reflex will kind of be the same when you turn and catch the light, but it just gives a bit more chunkiness. Not chunkiness, but more texture. Just a small amount, not as much, just to give a little bit extra colour and all that jazz. And then next we're going in with the Blush Sparkle glitter, and I'm using my small little brush, and I've put a little bit of glitter glue onto that. So let's get some hexies, or little circles there, and the slightly smaller but chunkier ones. Yeah. And these also kind of reflect that yellowy green kind of colour as well. I just love like the texture that it's going to give. You will have quite a bit of fallout, mainly down here, but like obviously we want it to be low down, so I'm not too bothered about up here, but kind of here I've got a lot of fallout, so I'll tidy that part up when I'm finished. But I'm not finished yet, so let's do these spangles on the other side. Okay, so now we look super natural, and everything is very natural. No, I'm joking. Now that we are sufficiently glittered and you can see me from space basically, make sure these are all stuck on properly. They don't fall off during the day. That would be sad. I am going to do my liner off camera just to save a little bit of time, and my mascara. I'll tell you what it is, or I'll have it linked down below or written down below. But yeah, I'm going to do my liner and my mascara, and then I will pop on some lashes as well. Alrighty, so the eyes are pretty much done now. I've put on my lower lash line, my waterline liner. My upper liner is the Bobbi Brown black ink liner. And for my waterline, I put on the Colourpop cream gel liner in the shade Puppy, which is just a bright orange. I was debating whether to do orange or black, but I thought black might be a bit, it might just throw off the whole orange bottom, so I just went to orange. I popped on my mascara, which was the Soap and Glory Thick and Fast, I think it's called, mascara, on my top and bottom lashes. And then for my false lashes, I went with the Eylure Fully Fleur from the Fleur de Force range of lashes. So they're nice and fluffy. They still show off all the nice colours we have, but they have a nice shape to them. So yeah, that's the eyes pretty much done. So I'm going to zoom you guys out a little bit like that, and we're going to go on to the skin. So for the skin, I'm going to use a sculpting powder from Inglot. This is the shade 513. It's this really cool toned contour, and I'm going to use a Real Techniques setting brush because I love the size of this for contour. You don't need a lot of this product because it is very, kicks up quite a bit, but in a good way. So we'll just contour with this. Love this tone. You could also really bronzy skin. I do bronze my skin sometimes, but doesn't always suit me. I don't go brown, I go pink in the sun, so I tend to just contour. Is easier for me. And then onto the actual cheeks, as in the blush on my cheeks. I'm going to use the Benefit Coralista blush because it's the perfect orangey tone for this look. And I'm going to use a MAC 160 NYX 8 brush for my cheeks. And we're gonna pop that on, starting a little bit further back. And for me, this blush has loads of warmth and obviously it's a orangey corally colour, but this would give me enough kind of that bronze warm skin, and I like a lot of blush. And then for my highlight, we're going to go very dramatic with highlight. I'm going to use the Inglot Sparkling Dust for the face, eyes and body, and this is in the shade 07. It's super sparkly and it's a loose product, so I'm actually going to, I was going to use a Luxie tapered highlighting brush, but I'm going to use a smaller brush because I want a bit more control with this, so give me one sec. So I'm actually going to use an e.l.f. I think this is a concealer brush as well, but it's like a big fluffy concealer brush, but it's smaller than the other brush I was going to use. Just so I have a bit more control over it, and I'm just evenly coating the very top of it, and we're just going to sweep that back here on my cheekbone. I like to really buff this in because it's quite pigmented and quite like strong, so it tends to just stick to the skin in one spot, and you'd have to kind of go in and give it a good rub to get it to do its thing. Alrighty, I forgot to mention, I've fixed my hair by the way because it looked ridiculous a minute ago. On my inner corner, for my inner corner highlight, I use the Inglot pigment in the shade 59. It's a white with a blue kind of violet-y duochrome, and I just pop that on my inner corner. It's nice because it goes with the blue and it still contrasts the orange as well. But we're going to move on to the lips. This is MAC's Boldly Bare Lip Pencil. I'm just going to use this to line my lips. And I'm going to go quite nude with this. I chose that pencil because it's a little bit warmer and peachier, so it goes with the eyes a bit better, but I do want it to be quite nude because we have got a lot going on here. I'm going to use my very, very well loved Honeylove lipstick from MAC, which is a nice pale nude, so it kind of lightens this pencil a little bit. And then for gloss, I'm going in with MAC's Dazzle Glass Lip Gloss in the shade Tangerine Tropicana. So it's a nice one as well. It's not really going to give too much colour, it's just for gloss. And adds a tiny little bit of peach. And that's the finished look. Alrighty guys, so this is the finished look. I hope you all enjoyed. This is very dramatic and I don't normally put that much glitter on my face. Actually no, that's a lie, I do. I don't mind glitter at all in the slightest, I love it. But I don't do festival makeup because I don't go to festivals. I've never been to a festival. I'm planning on going to a festival this year, maybe if we book it, and we might be going to the Leeds Festival because Foo Fighters are headlining on the Friday night. So I'm very excited about that, but I've never been to festival. I'm not really a tent kind of person or anything like that, so I don't know how I would do at a festival. I'd like to experience one at some point, but I could never ever go to Electric Picnic, which is what happens in Ireland, because it just gives me anxiety. Not anxiety. I get angry thinking about it. I think I'd be very angry at it because people would annoy me a lot. But I don't know, there's just certain ones that I probably would like to do. I just haven't had a chance to do them yet. I got lipstick all over my teeth. Yeah, so this is a festival look of sorts. It's the closest to a festival look that I've probably ever done. And it's just really, really bright, really, really funky. Weird shapes, weird colours, weird makeup. What else do you come to my channel for, really? So yeah, if you did like this look, give me a big thumbs up below. Let me know in the comments, what festivals do you like? What festivals do happen where you live that you enjoy going to, or your favourite festival you've ever been to? And also hit subscribe down below to see more colourful looks like this, more playtime videos like these, and I'll see you next video guys. Bye!